Well, hello. How are you? Looks like I am still, wow. You know, oh, technology craziness. All right, friends. Hello. How are you? This is the Dress Your Loom Quickfire Q&A. I'm so glad you're here. Feel free to put your questions, comments, thoughts, musings in the chat as I kind of go over some of the basics for the Dress Your Loom course and hopefully help to answer any questions you have. You know, the Dress Your Loom course, the doors close tomorrow. That's why the timing of all of this is so key, is that everything wraps up tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I am going to change all the links and go take a nap. That's what's going to happen tomorrow at 4 o'clock. At 4:05, pretty much. That is going to be the plan. But until then, the doors are open right now for the Dress Your Loom course. And let's just start from the top. What does that mean? If you are unfamiliar, the Dress Your Loom course is an online course that walks you through the entire weaving process. Basically, I show you exactly how to set up your looms, called Dressing a Loom. That's the name. You see where I'm getting with that, right? I show exactly how to dress your loom, set up a loom, to weave a project and finish a project. And it's all covered in kind of a 6-module course, all online, easy to use, and I think a lot of fun too, because it's so easy and you can kind of apply it however you want. So I realize I haven't even introduced myself. See, the technology always throws me off. I'm like, wait, it's not working on Facebook. What? I don't know what's happening. So, hello, friends. Just in case we haven't met yet, my name is Chris Acton with Acting Creative, and today we're talking all things Dress Your Loom. That is the plan for today. It's not going to be a really long session here today. I figure that I'll kind of go over some of the basics and answer any questions, and then we will call it good. We will be like, okay, we have done our due diligence. We have talked all the things, and we'll go on our merry way. So like I said, the Dress Your Loom course is meant to be like a starter course. It's meant to be for a beginner or for an experienced weaver that wants a different method for dressing a loom. As a matter of fact, you know, I had a student in this past January, Liz. And Liz kind of was a game changer for me because she had been weaving for 20 plus years. And she signed up for the course. I was like, Liz, can I ask, what was it about the course that really was appealing to you? And she said, as I was getting older, I was really starting to hurt because of arthritis, carpal tunnel, whatever it was. She's like, my method I was using was really hurting me physically. So she's like, I needed something different. And that's where the Dress Your Loom course came in handy, because it teaches a really easy method for dressing your loom. As a matter of fact, the reason that I wanted to create the Dress Your Loom course was because there's, friends, you know, there's so much online. There's so much. Like, if you typed in how to dress a loom, you would get pages of variations on that theme. And none of them are wrong. That's the amazing part of it. They're all correct, but there's so much out there. And as I was teaching students and they were like, it seems overwhelming. I don't know what to do here. I just thought, you know, wouldn't it be helpful to have one resource in place so that people could just sign up and I can make it as easy and approachable as possible, so that you want to dress a loom because you want to be weaving and it's easy to get there. So that was kind of the impetus why I decided that we needed such a course in the world, because there's just, there's so much. You know how this goes, right? As you search for, you know, do you do front to back? Do you do back to front? Do you do direct? There's all kinds of options, of course. And I always like to say none of them are incorrect. However, as a beginner, I know how overwhelming that can be. And if you need a place to start, I am so happy to give you a place to start. And then you can start to kind of make your own variations for what suits you as a weaver, as a person, as, you know, an artist, whatever you're interested in. So I'm going to go over some of the basics about class, just things that would be helpful to know, especially for anyone who's kind of on the fence. They're like, I don't know, maybe I want to sign up. I'm not sure. So let me run through some of the kind of the core parts of the course, and you can kind of make the decision for yourself then. So the Dress Your Loom course is geared towards any kind of beginner, and that could be someone who, you just inherited Aunt Laura's loom, or you maybe are coming back to weaving after being out of it for a couple years or decades or whatever that looks like. So maybe once upon a time you were steady into weaving, and then life took you a different direction and you're coming back to it. It's a perfect course for either of those kind of students. And also students like my girl Liz, who has been weaving steadily for a very long time, but has found that she needed a different method. So if for some reason you have been weaving and you're like, I dread dressing a loom, I really hate all the things. Friends, I would love for you to give me the chance to change your mind. That's what I would love. I would love the opportunity to be like, okay, I hear you. Just come try me on for size and see if that feels better. So that's really who the course is designed for. And my goal with the course is that by the time you're done, you are excited about weaving. Now, I understand that dressing a loom is not always the most fun. I don't mind it one bit. That's why I like creating the course and encouraging students to try it on. However, it may be that you're never a fan of dressing a loom, and that's okay. But I want you to at least be able to easily and comfortably get through that part of the process so that you could be throwing a shuttle and making amazing things on your loom. Because if the dressing the loom part is the only thing standing in your way from weaving all the incredible things, all the ideas that are in your head, friends, let's knock out that barrier and let's get you weaving. That is the goal. So I see that Colemine popped in. Excellent. He says, I discovered the auto dent hook recently. I don't even know what that is, friend. And went forth and bought a bunch for my mom and mother-in-law as well. I've only played with it so far, but not used it as dress loom yet. But I highly recommend an auto dent hook. My friend, I don't know what that is. That's fascinating. I love hearing about new tools, though. That's awesome. Thank you for that comment. I like that. Okay, so in the Dress Your Loom course, I teach front to back. That is the method that I've always worked with and kind of fine-tuned, and I like that method mostly because I measure everything out on a warping board and then I slay the reed next. If you're unfamiliar, here's kind of the 30-second explanation of front to back versus back to front. As you're sitting at the front of the loom, after you've measured your yarns, because everyone has to measure yarns first. That's usually the first thing out of the gate. You have to measure the yarns first. But after you do that, the distinguishing factor is what do you do next? If your second step is to slay the reed, this is the reed and the beater bar right here, you dress your loom from front to back. Because as I'm sitting at the loom, I'm going to start here and then I'm going to slay the reed. I'm going to thread the heddles. I'm going to wind it on and Bob's your uncle, and we're off to the races. So that's kind of the idea, is that if it's the kind of the motion, I'm going to start at the front of the loom and I'll work my way to the back, front to back. That's what that means. As you can imagine, back to front, pretty much the other way. You're going to start at the back and you're going to work your way and you're going to slay the reed at the end of the process. So I teach from front to back, which means that when I teach my students to slay the reed, I have them sit at a table and get it all comfortable. And for me, that makes all the difference, that I have time to put it in a comfortable position and I can get up and move around easily. And I've always enjoyed that part of the process. As a matter of fact, between you and me, that's my favorite step. Don't tell the other steps that that's my favorite, but that is my favorite step in dressing the loom, is when I get to slay the reed. I think it's so much fun and easy to do and a good time. So that is the method that I teach in the course. So certainly if you are looking for something different and you've maybe done back to front or a different version of front to back, if that's what you're looking for, friend, I got you covered. So let's talk about the project in the course. Now, in the Dress Your Loom course, I have my students weave a sampler. And you may be thinking, Chris, what are you talking about? Why aren't we making a scarf or towels or the world's best table runner? Okay, here is why. Let me explain my rationale here. Because what I found is that as weavers, we get very concerned with doing everything exactly right. And as a beginner, I want you to let that go. That is My hope for any beginning weaver is that you are able to let that go and just be like, I'm not going to worry about getting it perfect. I'm going to worry about learning. I'm going to worry about trying new things and playing and having a good time. So that's why the sampler becomes, for me, I think the perfect first project. Here is the idea, is that you you dress your loom. It's a 9-inch wide project. It's not very wide, so it doesn't take forever, which is part of the goal. And then I have you start to play with different yarns, different patterns, different whatever you want to throw in there. And the hope is that the project isn't so priceless, if that makes sense. It's not so special and unique that you feel like you can't just try stuff, because I want my students to try stuff. Get in there, pick out what happens, because you just don't know until you've started to really play with things. And I don't know if you're anything like me, I'm surprised constantly, which I love. I love that element of surprise. So the sampler, I find, is the perfect project to just let go and try stuff, because I don't want you to, this is going to sound weird, but I don't want you to care so much about it. I want it to be a place where you can, like a painter, just throw paint at it, just see what happens. Because as you play in a project, that's really when you start learning. Because I think if you decide that you're going to make the world's most perfect pair of towels, then it has to be just so. And your goal is to get it exactly exactly as it looks in your head. And that's all fine and good. But when you're just starting, that's a lot of pressure. And I don't want that kind of pressure on you. I want you to be able to feel good and feel like a kid and just put in some yarn and throw the shuttle and change the shafts. And I just want you to get in there and just have a great time. So the sampler is what I have the students do as they're learning the process, because that is the goal, to be learning, not to be making, the most amazingly perfect scarf that's ever come off a loom. Friends, that's going to take a minute to create those kind of products. You absolutely can. But in the meantime, I want you to really expand your ideas about what you can do, and just explore, just have fun, pretend like this loom is just uncharted territory, and you're there to see what it can do. So a sampler, that's what we make for the project with the Dress Your Loom course. And I want to touch on briefly the idea of what kind of tools or materials that you need for the course. First of all, I am a multi-shaft weaver. So that means I am working on a 4-shaft. An 8-shaft loom is great too. So that is what I'm working on, and that's what I'm teaching. So if you have a 4/8 shaft, that is the perfect loom for this course. I do not teach rigid heddle, because that has never been my jam. And there's nothing against rigid heddle. I think they're amazing. I think they do so many cool things. However, this course is not geared for them, since that's not what I'm really good at. Let's just put it that way. I don't own a rigid heddle loom. I've played with them before, so I appreciate that they are a different beast, and I think that's awesome. But this is not the course for rigid heddle. So if you have a 4-shaft, 8-shaft, more shaft, this is going to be a perfect fit. And as far as materials you need, there's honestly very few. I recommend a warping board, because I think that's just an easy tool to have. You need something to measure your yarns on. You can't do direct warping for this kind of loom. You just need too much yardage. There's too many things that can go wrong. There's too many ways the yarns can be uneven. So we need something to measure the yarns on. So warping board, you could use a warping mill as well. I don't really address that in the course, but if you have one, absolutely. We'll work with what you got. And that is certainly something that I try to be really flexible about, is that this course is online. That's part of the brilliance, because you can watch it from your home using your equipment and your materials. And so the course then can be modified to whatever you've got. So in the materials list, I love an 8/4 cotton. So I just asked for 3 colors of 8/4 cotton for the warp of the project. And if you don't have any 8/4 cotton and you're like, not really interested in buying some, I've got a ton of something else, you can use that. I give you all kinds of ways to modify it to work with the materials that you have, because I don't want you to buy stuff just to buy stuff. No. The idea is to make sure that you that the course and the method is working for you and what you want to do. So you can modify all of that. As far as other materials or other tools that you might need, pair of leaf sticks. I don't think I have any close to me right there. There may be some in my bucket back there. Pair of leaf sticks, which are just 2 sticks with holes in the ends, which is really easy. I am no misfix-it, but even I'm like, okay, if I had to, I could probably figure out how to make myself a pair of leaf sticks. That's an easy one. You need a shuttle, any kind of shuttle. It doesn't matter what kind. Stick shuttle, boat shuttle, rug shuttle, whatever you got. It'll all work. You need some kind of shuttle. And then just things around the house. Really, you need scissors, you need scrap yarn, some of that kind of stuff. So I tried to make the materials list as kind of easy and simple to acquire as possible. And one of the things I felt very strongly about is that everything is on the list of materials and tools you need for the class is what you need to be weaving all your projects going forward. I didn't request any, you don't have to buy any weird, there's no weirdness. There's none of that. There's no weirdness, friends. So I wanted to make sure that everything that you brought together for this course was going to be all that you need going forward and for any weaving project in the future. Now, of course, as you get into it and you love it, I'm hoping that you'll buy more yarn and that you might be like, hey, the stick shuttle was great, but I want to try a boat shuttle. So that you can invest in some other things. Absolutely. But you do not have to. If you have everything that's on the list for the class, that's all you need. And that was really my intention, was to make sure that that you didn't have to buy anything extra fancy, technical. I didn't want you to buy something you were only going to use for this class and then call it good. That seems like a waste. And that always makes me crazy. Like back in college when I had to buy that big book and then we never opened the book. I always got cranky about that. So none of that. So let's talk about registration options. So what's very cool about the Dress Your Loom course is that you can really choose which option. By the way, here, let me put this right here so you can start to check it out as we're talking. You can really select how much support you want to go with the course. That's kind of what it comes down to. There are 3 different registration options. The kind of the most support comes with the VIP option, and that includes 2 private one-on-one sessions with me. We put on the camera on Zoom and you can show me your project, you can ask questions, you can point out things, you can be like, okay, I don't understand this part, how do I do this, whatever. But it's 2 private sessions with me plus a beautiful binder. And wouldn't you know it, I forgot to get the binder. Wow. Forgot to get the binder. So anyways, there's a beautiful binder that you can put all your project information in. And this is a binder you use for any projects going forward, not just for the class. It is meant to be your like starting weaving binder for all. It's just your central location to keep all the information that you'll need. So that's the VIP option. You also, as a VIP, get access to these weekly Q&As, which every Wednesday evening we gather on Zoom. And students are encouraged to ask questions, things that came up during that module, maybe some challenges they ran into, whatever. It's totally up to you. There's no right or wrong to the weekly Q&A. But what's amazing about it is that you have then all the students come together and you get to hear people ask questions that you may not have thought of, which is awesome. I always find that that's the really surprising and wonderful part about that kind of setting, is when you have all the students, even if it's a virtual kind of classroom like this, is amazing. So the live Q&As, as a VIP, you're invited to all of them, plus you get access to the recordings. So that's really, if you want some hand-holding and you want some one-on-one attention to make sure that you're really getting it. You're like, okay, I'm serious about this, Chris. I really want to understand the process. And I want to really like just kind of comprehend how everything fits together so that I can be weaving just as quickly and seamlessly as possible. The VIP is the option for you, friend. The next kind of registration tier below that is called the group student, which gives you access to all of the live Q&As, the recordings, and of course, all of the body of the course. And then we've got one called the solo student. If you're someone's like, Chris, I don't need the live Q&A. I don't need the classroom stuff. No. I just want to be able to go through the course itself. Great. The solo student option is the one for you. And something I wanted to mention too is that with the group and the VIP options, those students will all be invited to go through the course in January when we run the whole thing again. And that's such a nice option because while you'll have access to the course, like once every module unlocks, you can access it whenever you want, friends. However, I know how it goes. Life gets in the way. You're doing other things. It's just not quite the same. So those students then will get an invite for free to go through the course with the January students. And we'll be like, okay, it's module 1. And then they can choose to go through it again, do another project, whatever. It just gives you another opportunity to kind of absorb the information and meet some other weavers too, which is kind of fun because weavers are typically pretty much solo. We're solo artists for the most part, aren't we? So that kind of covers the 3 different kinds of registration options that you have. And then how to register right here, friends. This is the page. Let me see if I can put it in. This is always the question. Can I, I'm not sure if I can put it here. Okay, let's see. I'm a smart girl. I can figure out how to do this. Let me see if I can put it in the comments for you so that you can copy and paste from there. How's that? How is that? Let me see. I can do hard things. Okay. So part of the idea then, let's see if I did that right. You guys tell me. Did that post? actingcrew.net/Dress Your Loom Course. That looks right to me. Woohoo! Okay. So that's the link to go check it out, to go see if which registration tier is going to be the right fit for you. We are going to okay, let me back up. Excellent. Thank you, Coal Mine. Thank you. Coal Mine's like, I'm with you. I got it. I always appreciate when people talk back to me. That's always, I like to hear that feedback. Thank you. So here's the idea is that when you register, then you immediately get access to this introductory video plus the PDF. And that is everything you need to prep for the course to start. I talk about what you need for the project, materials, kind of explaining the front to back in a little more detail. Like I just go through kind of setting the scene. That's what the introductory information is all about, setting the scene for the Dress Your Loom course. And then this coming Monday, the 21st, is when the first module will unlock. And then we'll unlock one module each Monday for the next 6 weeks. And once a module unlocks for you, it's yours forever and ever and ever. You can access this whenever you like, which I think is such a nice feature because let's say you're thinking, Chris, this sounds really great. It sounds like exactly what I need, but I am busy for the rest of the summer. Like I am slammed. I've got vacation. I got kids or grandkids going back to school. I've got a garden to tend to. I have all this stuff happening. This is a bad time, Chris. Well, my friend, here is something to consider is that if you have some free time in September to look at the course will be ready for you. Let's say end of October, you're like, oh yeah, now I'm feeling it. I'm ready. Let's learn how to dress a loom. Press play. It is right there for you. So that's part of the beauty of having an online course is that it is there as a resource all the time. And it's one of the real benefits to doing online versus in-person. In-person classes are amazing. Do not get me wrong. I love that kind of setting. However, with an online course, you can pull up the videos whenever you need. It can be 2 a.m. and you'd be like, all right, Chris, talk to me. What do I do here? I am right there. And speaking of me being right there, one of the things that I always like to mention too is that yes, you have the course. And if you're a group student or VIP, you have the Q&As to look at as well as the recordings. You've got all kinds of information there. But don't ever forget that I am there to hold your hand the entire time. My greatest passion in life is to see beginning weaving students when that light bulb clicks on and they're like, oh, I get it. I can easily set up this loom and weave something. And isn't that magical? I just think that's incredible. So I will be on call, waiting to hear from you and waiting to catch you if you stumble, whatever you need help with. I am there. And you can ask any student that's gone through the class. You can email me anytime. I mean, I'm not checking my emails at 3 a.m, but I do check them at 7 a.m. So I will be happy to help you and guide you however you need to get through the course. So I just wanted to kind of, clarify that I don't hand it off to be like, here you go. See ya. No. I am right there with you. I love being right there with you. I think that's awesome. And I just think that's really such an honor for me to help get you started on your weaving journey, or to help you get excited about weaving again, whatever that looks like. Cole says, my loom is still not fully functional, under construction. Don't you worry. See, it's you'll get it there. I know you will, Coal Mine. No worries. No worries. Okay, so boy, I think I have covered a lot today. Let me know if you have additional questions that you'd like me to answer while we're hanging out here together. You know what's just so fun is to see all the projects come together too. I always encourage the students to send me pictures as their projects are going on or as they finish it. And of course, they all look completely different because they're samplers. They're usually this like explosion of color and texture and pattern, and it's all this like playground of stuff. So fun. And I encourage everybody, I'm like, if you have space, hang that puppy up, put it somewhere proudly. So you'd be like, this is this is the project that I did with my course. And you can be like, oh, I love this little bit right here. And be like, how did I do that? Oh, it's a little bit of twill. And I used, a teal blue and a navy to make this, whatever. So you have like this little record of all the incredible things that you can play with in the course. Look at this. Donna Cunningham. Donna, I love it when you pop in, my friend. She says, Coal Mine, my loom was still in pieces when I went through the class. No problem with being able to rewatch the videos. Thank you, Donna. That's a great testament. Donna to the rescue. That's awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. So yeah, any other questions? Any other thoughts? Any ways that I can help you? Let's see. Coal Mine says, my mom is a front to back weaver, but when I've been doing online YouTube searching, I only find back to front videos. Isn't that interesting? Huh, that's a very interesting observation. Yeah. Do you know what's so interesting about this comment though, is that in my guild, the local guild that I've been a part of, I bet 90% of the weavers do back to front. And I'm kind of odd man out that I do front to back. That's a very interesting thought there. Yeah. I don't know that I've ever kept a tally to see as I do my online searches, which way they go, which direction they prefer for that. That's very interesting. Yeah. You know what? Like I always say, there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong way to do it, but there are a lot of ways to do it. And so I think that if I can help in any way to make it easier, make it simpler, clarify, give you some place to start, I feel like that's the least I can do, because we need you weaving. That is the whole idea. The world needs many, many more weavers, and I'm going to help with that as much as I can. All right, friends. I think that'll do it for us today. We did I guessed about 30 minutes we would hang out together today, and we're right there. If you think of any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and email me. I'm chris@actingcreative.net. That is that's the email. Do you know what? I can put that in the comments here. We'll see. I'll put that right there. creative.net. There we go. You are welcome to reach out if you think of a question you have in the middle of the night. I will happily answer you tomorrow morning. That is the thing. But just as a reminder, the doors do close tomorrow at 4 p.m. And you know what? I do that intentionally because I want to have limited registration so that I can close the doors. And instead of being worried about, doing all the promotion for registering for the course, I can then solely focus on delivering a great course and a great experience to all my students. So that's specifically why I don't keep it open all the time. I have limited registration, so then I can just teach the hell out of it. I'm so excited to do it. It's really my favorite thing. So, all right, friends, I'm going to sign off for now, but I am not going very far. You can join me back here tomorrow morning for Live at the Loom. And if you think of any questions, you can ask them then, or you can email me, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm around and I'm happy to help you however you need. That's the goal. But I sincerely hope that I'll see some of you in the Dress Your Loom course, because it is going to be awesome. And I'm excited to dig in. All right, my friends, have a wonderful few hours. I'll be right back here at 9:30 Central Time tomorrow morning for Live at the Loom. Have a good one. Happy weaving.